Welcome back to the freemilesmc, and we are back with the Yamaha XJ600 project, and I now really want to get this project going that we hopefully can get the bike back on the road until end of the month. And first of all, big thank you to everyone watching, because you guys pointed out a mistake that I did when doing the brakes, that I accidentally one of the seals was on the wrong side of a screw. We will definitely correct that. But what is the big plan for the video? In the last video I had some electrical issues, so I wanted to start the bike and get going with it, but then there was just nothing. So I think most likely the battery is broken, and I have a new battery. I will put that in, and if that doesn't work, we will have a look at the alternator. But let's hope that the battery does the trick and then continue on with this project of getting this bike back on the road. I honestly don't yet know how the day will go, if we will be looking at how to fix a potentially broken alternator or go for the new oil and everything and check the seals on the forks. But I think we're slowly getting closer and closer to getting the bike back on the road, because we have to do these things and still clean the rusty tank, and then we're basically good. Let's go. All the products that I'm using in the video, I will try to put as many of them down in the description, and let's go. This episode was off to a great start, as the front of my fingernail snapped off and my fingernail ripped multiple millimeters deep into the nail bed, which was just pleasant. Those screws are for emptying out the carburetors, which we are doing with a mustard glass, because I instantly want to hook up the bike to fuel to see if it runs, and for that we need to get rid of the old fuel. So we now have put in the battery, and I was a bit fast with things and already put on the fuel bottle to see if the engine maybe starts. We will first start the engine without any fuel, with the thing still off, to see if the whole battery thing worked. I was now a bit too fast, to be honest. I hope that that is no issue and that the problem was the battery after all, not the alternator. So let's see. Yes, that sounds good. New battery, Alternator working, so we can now see if the engine will actually turn on. So let's go. Let's put this thing on. Fuel is coming through. Choke out. Let's go. So the bike now just didn't start. That's kind of bad news. I have starter spray to see if it works with that. Let's give it another try. Let's open up the bottle. Let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. That sounded good. That sounded like a start. We need some more fuel in this bottle though. What a balance act. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Not spill anything. Ah. Okay. So let's pull the choke all the way out. Give it another try. Our bike is running! Now taking the choke away. That's really, really good. Engine running smoothly. The bike was standing for over half a year. I cleaned the carburetors before. Luckily, they're all still good to go. Yeah, I'm very happy. Let's get this bottle here off. So I now let the forks dive in, and as you see, there's nothing on here except for this little line. You see? Right here. Is that enough for this to be untied? Do you think I need to change that? Please leave it in the comments. Maybe that will be then another job. I know I should have done that step first before starting the engine, but the motorcycle still has 2-year-old oil in it, and it's oil that I have not put in it myself. So let's definitely make sure and change the oil on this motorcycle. And if you want an exact tutorial on how to do that, I will link that up there. And yeah, let's get that job done. After taking out the oil, I am twisting off the oil filter. You can do this either with a special wrench, with a pipe wrench, or if you have good grip strength, just with your hands. So here we have the new air filter. This one is pretty cool because it has a little point where you can put a ratchet on, so you don't need to get the special wrench and all that kind of stuff. One good little tip is to always put a little bit of oil around this little circle here that you see when taking off the oil filter. And now we should be able to just screw this thing back on. One thing that I like to do is to put a little bit of oil already into the oil filter, just so that the engine doesn't run for a short moment without oil. Let's put a little bit of oil into this one. Okay, should be all good. Now we can very easily just tighten this thing. It's about 1.5 repetitions without breaking the seal. You need to be quite careful with this one. Not too tight, but also not too loose. Let's put a new ring onto the oil pan screw so that that's all tight as well. So after we now have successfully put in new oil into the machine, we still have quite a few jobs to do, but I think for what we still managed today, I think it's a good idea to put, because as we're like done with the whole brake section here, to put the fairings back on the bike for this rear part. Even though I have to admit that the bike looks quite nice with the exposed frame, and maybe for a future project, that's something we're going to remember. So, and here we go. After some time I now figured out that some of the old screws are missing, not from me taking them out and forgetting them, but like also on the other side. So I decided to put some new screws in. They look like this, out of this little box.
Voice will echo, need no phone. Ruled by the laws above. Nature shows me, makes me taught. I could climb this mountain now, rise above the clouds and see where oh the force that kept me strong. Never did I mean no wrong.
So now with the bike being mostly back together, I actually have to appreciate the shape of the bike. This rear end of the motorcycle and with the chrome exhaust looks so beautiful. That's the perfect way into a summary for this episode. We today did a lot of things that needed to be done that are not the biggest jobs, but this bike is slowly coming together and I have a really good feel about it. Earlier I had a look at the forks and I was like, do we need to replace the simmer rings? And let's be honest, I asked you guys if we need to do that. I already know the answer, we need to do that. So we got quite far, engine running, battery, electricity, everything all good, new oil in the machine. There is not much left to do. We have the forks and to de-rust the gas tank, and then maybe one more issue comes up because it's always like that. But I feel like slowly things are coming together, which is really, really good. And I am confident that I managed to get this machine on the road in the span of this month. And the next episodes will definitely be following soon, as I am curious to continue this project and I really want to have the confidence boost of finally having finished a bike project. And with that, thanks for watching, and if you have a motorcycle in Germany or anywhere in Eastern Europe, definitely feel free to send me an email. I would be very thankful for that kind of support, and see you guys in the next episode.